Bill, let me just say personally what a lovely, challenging, and extraordinary honor it has been to be able to work with you and to share your story. It's a story that includes deep suffering, loss, love, wisdom, responsibility, sacrifice, awareness, understanding. I want to invite you to read Bill's book. It's an extraordinary treasure that it's here amongst us, and I feel very, very grateful that it's possible. Bill.
Of course, thank you, Philip. This book wouldn't have existed without Philip. I wrote my doctoral dissertation 25 years ago, and of course it was published. It's in the Library of Congress and so forth, but I just let it lie dormant for many years. I didn't think that it was even relevant today. Then 2 years ago, Philip asked, could I read it? This is around Christmas time. He took it home and read it and immediately called me and says, we need to publish this. I said, we do? He said, yes, because it's a message for all of us now. Not 25 years ago, you were way ahead of your time. I said, was that the problem? Because I felt irrelevant after writing it, and when I tried to apply for positions to teach, people were totally baffled by my dissertation, totally. They didn't get it. They did think it was irrelevant, and they dismissed me time and time and time again. And then one of my clients one day said, you should be teaching, Bill. I'm going to get you an interview with Rick Haldenby at the University of Waterloo. I came and had lunch the next day with Rick. And we're sitting in the Melville Cafe, and I hadn't worked for years, really. I had some architectural work, but a dead-end academic career. And Rick said, could you teach what you're telling me in 12 lectures? And I said, what is that? I'd be happy to give a lecture. He said, no, 12. It's called a course. And I'm inviting you to do the course. So I thought, what am I going to teach? I went home, and I had a dream that night with the topics, the 12 topics that were going to be in my lecture series. It just came to me instantly. I wrote it down quickly. I called Rick. I said, Rick, I have the titles for the course. He said, great, send them to me. I said, perfect. And within a few months, I was teaching it here. I called it 12 Architectures. It was a tremendous fulfillment for me to be, as an architect, being able to teach architecture and my own native culture. And I'm on the Grand River. Oh my goodness. That's the Grand River that was given to my ancestors as our territory when we were exiled from New York State. We were given 6 miles either side of that river from its headwaters to its mouth. And that's where we are today. Oh my goodness. And here it flows right outside this building. I am in a perfect moment. Oh my God. And I felt like this so often, like I do today, that I'm in a perfect moment for myself and for all of you with the writing of this book. Because this book lays out all of the profound underworld which gave birth to who I am. And so it's a journey. It's a journey to a dark place and then a recovery. It's not an easy journey. I actually wouldn't wish anybody to go on the journey because it is so demanding. It takes terrible, terrible courage. Courage that I wondered, why do I have this courage? Because I have nothing to lose. With all I have nothing to lose. I will go on this journey. And I guess it's a bit like Tolkien, when the Hobbit begins to go on his journey. He doesn't want to go, but he does go, and it is completely transformative. I thought to give you a little bit of a hint of the tone of the book and what I'm saying in it, I thought I could do a couple of readings from the book. Now, the book is structured in episodes with titles, and when you get the book and you look at these episodes, you'll begin to see the narrative even before you dive into the book. And of course, like all good things, it should begin with a prelude. Could someone get me a Kleenex? I did somewhere. It's my emotionality, I guess. Yeah. Oh, there, perfect. That's just perfect, thank you. Someone always has a Kleenex, so. Now, we didn't just take the dissertation and turn it into a book. It wasn't that smooth. We had to look carefully at all the wording, all the references, and to see if it read well. And we put it all together, and then I said, we need to write a prelude. The words that come before the book, prelude, like in music. So this is the prelude. It's not too long. The morning star, it is bright. Tawennawetah, Teyoswathe. That is the morning star in Mohawk. It was a very important star to us. I am Mohawk, Six Nations of the Grand River. Tawennawetah, Teyoswathe. It was completed at the end of the devastating and yet promising 20th century, when the State of the World Forum was held in New York in the year 2000, and that meeting is in the dissertation. The world leaders got together in the year 2000 in New York to think about the future of the Earth. It's very high-minded, but that was the year 2000. That was when the shock and the horror and the tragedy of the events of September 11th hadn't even occurred. Then the worldwide pandemic of 2020 and 22 had not yet sobered the entire human race. And the devastating tragedy of the native residential schools still lay hidden from non-native people. Just a few years ago, non-native people didn't know they existed. Living through all of these events has helped me personally to go deeper. And yet this dissertation addresses many of the core aspects of these worldly events and attempts to rise to a higher, reconciled world in which atonement and action bring healing. So my understanding is that the whole planet needs healing right now. It's always needed it, but now more than ever. The publication of my dissertation was completed 24 years ago and is a restatement to the long-standing vision testament, to the long-standing vision which it represents. The process of researching and writing it was a profound personal journey, one in which I am now ready to share with a larger audience. And like pulling the drape off my life, I go into the world. It leaves me revealed and vulnerable. But now is the time to do it. So when you read this, you're going to see William Woodworth, naked, basically. And it's scary to do that because I say, is it safe? Is it safe to be completely open? I'm going to say, well, it is. It is. I have the strength to be open and to feel safe. And it's very important in this world today that we do feel safe when we enter these vulnerable places. People are afraid to go to the vulnerable place because they're afraid of what it will expose. And they're afraid to look at themselves, that they won't like what they see. And perhaps I was somewhat like that. As a gay man, I lived most of my life in the closet, ashamed of my own sexuality. You know what that does to a person? It's the heart and soul of life that we should be with someone we love and to be able to share intimacy with them. And I was made to feel guilty. And when you're guilty for, like myself, 40 years, that guilt weighs heavily on you until you can begin to pull the drape on it and know that you're not going to be beaten on the street for who you are. It's very tough. Now, that was the first part of that journey. Okay. Now, just to give you a little bit of the tone, why is this called the Morning Star? There is a reason for it. In our own culture, whether you can hear me over the changing class, but in my introduction, I talk about the subtle way that the idea of the Morning Star just came into my life. I didn't just pull it out of a hat saying, I've done a lot of research and it's an important star system and all of that. No, it came to me on a very personal level by observing of things around me. And it begins on one crisp fall morning in the pregnant darkness that comes before first light. And I drag myself out of bed at the home of the great Cayuga chief, Jacob Ezra Thomas. He's the only person illustrated in the book. He is my great teacher. He was the great elder of the 20th century in our culture. I'm trying to find that picture. Yeah. You'll see this is on page 172. This is Jake. This is the man who is really responsible for who I am today. He took me under his wing. He asked me to sit by him, to share his elder's duty with me so I could see how it worked, to love the people, and to learn our culture. Now, the year that this happened was 1996, and the world was once again at the time of the 10th moon, the month of September. So the seasons are passing. This is way beyond, the lives we're living. The seasons pass. And I was at Six Nations of the Grand River in southern Ontario. When I did my doctoral studies, they were in San Francisco. So a native reserve in southern Ontario was kind of an exotic entity for us. but that reserve is the modern homeland of my exiled Haudenosaunee ancestors. We don't really belong here. We belong to New York State, but we were chased out by settlers, genocided really, and we had to retreat. So we became refugees on our own land which was stolen from us. And so in a very real way, we're on that original land grant that we were given right here in the school. Okay. Now, we left the house with a friend of mine, also a Mohawk, who was studying with Jake. His name was Brian Rice. And I drove my car down a long driveway to the main road and past a floor mat of a red ochre concrete that we had poured in readiness to receive a great wood structure where Jake could carry out his teaching work. We'd only have the floor slab done. Now this yearning place led out in the damp morning, rested gently on, quote, her body. This is our mother, the earth, as Jake would say, and stretching on his long axis from the west, where we watched the forest in the east. It was an orientation of beginnings and openings. And on that particular morning, stirred by my sacred duty and memory, I looked out across the primordial path of the sun and moon and up into the sky, and there our grandmother the moon shone bright. Hovering just above her was another distant, smaller star. We know it as Tawennawetah, Teyoswathe, the morning star. It is bright. This planet star, as well known to the Eurocentric mind as Venus, has a profound spiritual symbol of beauty. That day was also the anniversary of my own mother's birth, September 13. These conjunctions are very important. That my mother was born on the very day I was observing this. She came into the world. She was Mohawk. So much of our star knowledge is lost to the memory of most people, and so I searched among the people at the sunrise burning tobacco ceremony, someone who could tell me what it meant. And we had all gathered once again to hear the second day of the recitation of the Tawennawetah, the great law of peace. And this is something you'll find out about in the book. But this is the core of our culture, the speaking of the great law of peace. And one of the assisting men was Tom Porter. He was also an elder in training, and he traveled from the ancient Mohawk territory in the Mohawk Valley of New York State, where he lived. Now, our conversation was something like this. Tom, tell me what I saw this morning as we drove out from Jake's Drive. Did you see the morning star over the moon? And it's sat for me on the exact axis of this learning center concrete floor slab we poured. What could it mean, I said. And he said, okay, Bill, she is the bringer of new beauty to this purpose which the people need now. Our grandmother, the moon, is with her, bringing her down. You are the doctor of the building. That's what he would call me. We don't have architect in our language. This is a good sign that what you are trying to do is going to be beautiful. Very important to me. I mean, if we have one special possibility as architects, it's to create beauty. And this is not easy. It's not a simple thing. It doesn't occur easily. So he's saying it will occur in this project because we have seen the conjunction of Tawennawetah, Teyoswathe, and our grandmother, the moon. This is how we see it. These are living entities. So all of a sudden I thought, yes, Tawennawetah, Teyoswathe. That's what I'm going to call my dissertation. In traditional culture, when you receive deep knowledge, it is your duty to give it back. Not to hang on to it, to give it back. And what does that mean? Well, this is what I explore in the book. And you'll see how I came to be able to give it back. I think the book ends with an epilogue, a postlude. And the postlude addresses something which wasn't in the original dissertation, but which is on the floor in front of me right now. It's a large, what we call wampum belt. Do you all know what wampum is? The beads from the shells. And in front of me is one of the largest wampum belts that we created, the ever-growing tree. The prophecy in this belt is mind-boggling. It basically says every single person on this planet is invited to come and join our circle. We are the circle of all life and all time. Come and join us under the shade of the great white pine that will be ever growing up to the sky world. Beckoning, beckoning, beckoning the Creator. This is our ultimate duty as Haudenosaunee people, to invite the earth to our circle. This is a beautiful and profound duty. We have 50 chiefs. It would be possible. It would be possible because our chiefs and the order we have now far outweighs anything at the United Nations. And it's far more subtle and inclusive than anything that goes on at the United Nations. Because we've been doing what we've been doing for over 1,000 years. We've had a lot of practice. And we've come to this point now where we would like to share it with the entire world, even no matter what they've done to us. It doesn't matter. People all over the planet have hurt each other beyond belief, back and forth, hurt and pain and recovery. We have to stop this cycle. Stop it. Lay down your weapons and come and sit in the circle in peace. So, that's the conclusion of the book. Peace. All right. Well, I think I've neglected to talk about how the book was published. It's an expensive endeavor. And I was very fortunate to have a friend, Peter Dalglish, who comes from a very wealthy family. And I told him about the project, and he said, okay, we'll help you. We'll fund the project, which they did. They funded it 100%. Just a gift. So I knew there was a great impetus behind this project, that it wasn't just another book, that there is a thrust behind it, and many people have had to join together to make it happen. You know, all centered on the inspirations I had as a lonely, searching man over a period of 25 years. It has come to a conclusion. And this day is kind of a conclusion of it. This day is my birthday, by the way. It's just a terribly happy moment for me. And I feel, okay, yes, this is what it's been all about. That I would come and have this book published and to share it with all of you. And so now it goes out into the world as a published book, and we have it available for sale here at a discount for this opening. I think it's $25, which is very reasonable. And yeah. Okay, so what we wanted to conclude with is a kind of toast. And in the Haudenosaunee tradition, the toast is done with strawberry juice.